Ever wondered how much your life is worth? I found out mine is worth for $100, and my boss was the one selling it. Yeah, I know that sounds like some over-the-top clickbait headline, but I'm dead serious. One random Tuesday morning in Manhattan, I went from sipping overpriced coffee at my desk to finding my entire life, my face, my social security number, my bank accounts up for sale on the freaking dark web. But let me back up. My name's Travis, 29, IT guy at a mid-sized finance company. Not glamorous. My job is basically babysitting servers and reminding accountants that no, you shouldn't click that weird email promising you a free cruise. My life was fine. Same coffee shop every morning, same overpriced sandwich for lunch, same subway ride back to my tiny overpriced apartment in Queens. That day started like any other until I got an email with the subject line, "Your account has been activated." No logo, no greeting, just those words and a link. Phishing scam, right? Delete. Move on. Except, 2 hours later, my coworker Dylan strolls up to my desk with this smirk. "Hey, Trav. Why the hell are you on the dark web?" I laugh, because, what? Dude, I'm not. He turns his laptop to me, and there it is, a dark marketplace listing with my photo, my actual driver's license photo, underneath my address, my date of birth, my phone number, hell, even a list of recent Amazon purchases. I feel my stomach drop. This isn't some spam email. This is me, my entire life. Dylan shrugs like it's a weird joke. Kinda creepy, huh? Wonder how you pissed off the wrong hacker. I try to laugh it off, but inside, my brain's doing backflips. I've been in IT long enough to know data breaches happen. People get hacked all the time. But this felt personal, too specific, too clean. I tell Dylan I'll check it out later, and spend the next hour pretending to work while my hands shake under the desk. Every keystroke feels loud. Every email ping makes me jump. I finally pull up a VPN, dig into the link he showed me, and there it is again, my profile. For sale to verified buyers only. Price, $400. For me, here's the part that really made my blood run cold. Some of the data listed wasn't public. It wasn't from Facebook or LinkedIn or anywhere I'd shared it. These were things I'd only ever given to one place, my job. Now imagine what happens next. But before that, smash that like button and hit subscribe, cause the craziest part is just getting started. I'm not exactly the kind of guy you'd remember in a crowd. 5'10", a bit broad around the waist, short buzz cut because I'm too lazy to deal with hair gel in the mornings. My uniform, jeans, sneakers, and whatever clean t-shirt I can find. I blend in, and yet, here I was, staring at my very average face on a dark web marketplace like I was some high-value trophy. It didn't feel real. It felt like someone had yanked my driver's license from my wallet and plastered it online with a sign that said, "Here's Travis. Do whatever you want." That afternoon, I shut the glass door to my little IT office, more like a glorified closet, and went to work. VPN on, tore up, multiple relays. I wasn't just browsing anymore. I was hunting. I clicked through the listing Dylan had shown me. My profile was there, bundled with zip folders labeled with my name. Inside were old rental agreements, bank statements, even a scanned prescription from last year when I had strep throat. And that's when it hit me, this wasn't random. This wasn't scraped from some sloppy public data leak. Everything was perfectly formatted, neatly categorized, the kind of clean you only get if someone pulls it directly from an organized internal database. I'd seen this kind of thing before, at work. That's when my stomach turned. I recognized the file structure, same folder hierarchy, same naming conventions we used for storing sensitive client records, the kind of thing only someone inside the company could access. And then it got worse. I started checking other profiles for sale on the site. Different names, different faces, but some of them were familiar. Julia from accounting, Greg from payroll, Claire, my boss's assistant, all of them with the same neat, internal style data packages. By then, my hands were sweating on the keyboard. I decided to test a theory. Markets like this are built to hide their tracks, but I know there's always a loose thread somewhere. After about an hour of sifting through buried metadata and cross-referencing server pings, I found a single IP address that had slipped through the cracks of the proxy chain. I ran a lookup, expecting it to be somewhere in Eastern Europe or Southeast Asia. Instead, my screen froze me cold. New York, Midtown, our building. It wasn't some faceless hacker in another country. Whoever was doing this was here, walking the same hallways, maybe grabbing coffee from the same machine as me. And if the files were being prepped for sale now, that meant the theft was happening in real time. I wasn't just looking at a crime. I was watching it happen and I had no idea how deep it went. I don't usually stay late at the office unless something's broken, like really broken. But that night, I didn't go home. I waited. I let everyone else pack up, hear the usual "see you tomorrow" Trav from Greg, and then listened as the floor went quiet. It's a weird kind of silence up here after hours. You hear things you never noticed during the day: the hum of the HVAC, the elevator doors sliding open and shut far down the hall, the faint click of the security cameras moving, the kind of silence that makes you think you're being watched even when you're alone. I sat in my little glass-walled office with the blinds half closed. My laptop was hooked into the internal network through an admin backdoor I'd made months ago. Officially, it was for maintenance emergencies. Unofficially, it was my insurance policy. I started digging. The main directories were clean to clean. No suspicious folders, no weird file sizes. That in itself was a red flag. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that criminals don't store their loot where you expect to find it. Then I saw it. A folder buried 3 levels down in an archive drive we'd stopped using 2 years ago. Name: Legacy Project. I opened it. Inside were subfolders named with random 6-digit numbers. I picked one. It was a zip file. Inside, data packages, same neat structure I'd seen on the dark web listings. Same formatting, same everything. My pulse picked up. I checked the file properties. The access logs were a mess, a lot of them wiped, but one username kept popping up: Rains. Michael Rains, my boss. I sat back in my chair, staring at the name like it was written in blood. Michael was the kind of guy who wore 3-piece suits to casual Fridays. Sharp silver hair, expensive watch, the fake kind of smile you'd expect from a politician. He didn't seem like someone who'd know how to compress a file, let alone run an illegal data market, which meant either he was a hell of an actor, or someone wanted me to think it was him. I needed to be sure. I dug deeper. The timestamps on the files were all over the place, but one caught my eye. A data set created today, less than 2 hours ago, and at the top of that set, my name. That was enough to make the back of my neck go cold. Whoever was behind this wasn't done yet. They were still pulling files, still adding to the stash, and I was next in line to be packaged. I closed everything down, wiped my traces, and leaned back, trying to slow my breathing. Outside my office, the lights in the hallway flickered once, just once, and I couldn't shake the feeling that maybe I wasn't the only one staying late tonight. The next morning felt wrong. Not in the "I didn't get enough sleep" kind of way, more like when you walk into a room and feel everyone's been talking about you, but they go quiet the second you show up. I came in at my usual time, coffee in hand, trying to play it cool. Mr. Rains was already in his office. That was odd. He's usually a roll in at 9:30 kind of guy. I walked past his glass door. He looked up from his desk, smiled that politician smile, and gave me a nod. The kind of nod that could mean "good morning" or "I know what you did last night." I spent most of the morning pretending to work, but my mind was elsewhere. How do you casually ask your boss if he's selling employee identities on the dark web without getting fired? Or worse, around 11, I decided to test the waters. I knocked on his door. "Got a sec?" He motioned me in, leaning back in his chair. "Of course, Travis. What's on your mind?" I kept it vague. "Weird stuff going on in the network lately. I've been seeing unusual access patterns in some of the old archive drives." For half a second, I swear something flickered in his expression, but it was gone before I could be sure. "Old archives? Probably nothing. We've had some automated backups running." "Right," I said, forcing a laugh. "Just making sure there's nothing off." His smile didn't move, but his eyes seemed to pin me to the chair. "We all appreciate your diligence." That was my cue to get out before I said too much. Back at my desk, Dylan dropped by, leaning on the divider. "Dude, why is Rains watching you like a hawk?" "What?" I just walked past his office. He was staring right at your screen, like, laser focused. Didn't even notice me. Great. So either I was imagining things, or I'd just confirmed I was on someone's radar. The rest of the day was a blur. Emails, calls, fake smiles. But every time I glanced up, I felt those eyes on me. By 5, I was ready to get out until I noticed something on my desk. A flash drive. No, just a small, black, unmarked USB stick sitting exactly where my mouse had been this morning. I looked toward Michael's office. Empty, lights off. For a full minute, I just sat there, staring at it. Picking it up felt like picking up a grenade without the pin, and yet, I slid it into my pocket, because I knew whatever was on that drive, it wasn't meant for Our. It was meant for me. I didn't open the flash drive at the office. Took it home, locked the door twice, pulled the blinds, and sat at my kitchen table. Inside, a text file, an encrypted archive, and a video. The text you didn't imagine the logs. Open the video. Passphrased legacy burns clean. The video, a masked figure, voice modulated. Hello, Travis. Your father stole something 20 years ago. Debts roll forward. We've been harvesting your archives not for money, for a ledger. Names flashed on screen: Julia, Greg, Claire. The voice called it a filter to sort who's useful, who can pay, and who must be made to pay. My profile was set to transfer today. My boss delayed it. Then an email from Michael: if you're home, check under your sink. Under the sink, an envelope with logs, NDAs, and a memo about a third-party data stabilization group authorized to ingest and normalize profiles in plain English. Hand over our data to strangers. One heading stood out: generational assets, assets tied to legacy events through family. I opened the archive. 2 folders: proof and exit. Proof was evidence, photos, emails, payments. Exit was instructions, resignation template, contacts, and a press list. A text came: you have until midnight to choose transfer. I replied: meet me. Reply tomorrow. PM, Pier 46. Come alone. At the pier, the masked figure was Claire. A correction, she said. A way to pay debts we didn't make. Your boss is a shield. Imperfect. She explained transfer meant being moved to protect a job safe. Accounts fixed in exchange for looking the other way. Declining meant losing everything. Pick, she said. Protected or drowned. I'll send my answer tonight, I told her. That night, I posted my story to Reddit. At 12:01, my account was suspended. Someone knocked on my door. Travis, a voice said softly. Then, open, or we open. The door opened anyway. 2 plainclothes strangers entered like they owned the place. No badges, no rush, just the slow confidence of people who always get what they want. We're here to finalize your credentials review, the taller one said. They told me my father once worked for a bank that no longer exists. Found something called the ledger, and took it when he tried to disappear. The ledger was a map of liabilities, people who could be pressured through family ties. I was on it because of him. Michael, they explained, was a shield making noise to stall my transfer. Selling my profile wasn't a sale, it was bait to see who'd come for me. Claire, a courier. The video, insurance. Protected meant my life would get easier, job secure, accounts fixed, doors open. In return, I'd keep quiet, maintain network backdoors, and quietly pass along reports. Declining meant my life collapsing piece by piece. Utilities errors, bank problems, work irregularities. They slid me a phone with 2 options: accept or decline. Pick, the man said. And if I go public? I asked. Then we meet again in a room with no doors, the woman replied. I thought about Julia, Greg, Claire, about my father, about how protected was just a nicer word for own. Fine, I said, pressing accept. The phone read: transferred, category shield, conditional. By morning, all my problems had vanished, rent processed, heat fixed, HR closed my review. Gravity, I thought. At work, Michael nodded at me. Claire handed me tickets. Busy day, she asked, like none of it had happened. I sat down, answered an email about a printer, and tried not to think about the ledger I now belonged to.